Well, good afternoon. A number of you were out on Lafayette and Beard earlier today and saw the conditions. And if you were there, you'll understand that I'm expressing my deep gratitude to the hundreds of workers who responded heroically from the Detroit Fire Department, the Detroit Police Department, Great Lakes Water Authority, Detroit Water Sewage Department, Department of Neighborhoods, and even community volunteers. It was a remarkable response. As of now, we have successfully rescued 54 adults, 22 children, and 12 pets from the neighborhood. We did have somebody transported to the hospital with a breathing issue, but everyone else has so far been removed safely. And we have 80 people now knocking on the doors of the neighborhood. Neighborhood police officers, our Department of Neighborhood staff, and community volunteers to make sure that every family is safe. Where we are now is a far cry from where I thought we were going to be when Gary Brown woke me early this morning to tell me we were facing the worst water main break he'd ever seen. A 54-inch transmission line had broken. It was flooding a densely populated neighborhood. He told me he did not know how wide the dam was going to be, and he called the Coast Guard in anticipation of the possibility of rescue. And to get from where we were then to where we are now was a result of the individuals here. The general details are the first phone call came in to the Detroit Police Department 911 at 2 in the morning on a sound of a large bang. Ultimately, that there was water coming in. Most water main breaks are in the neighborhood streets, which are the responsibility of the Detroit Water and Sewer Department. The huge transmission lines are under the Great Lakes Water Authority. By 4 in the morning, they had recognized this was a transmission line break. GLEWA was notified at 4 a.m. And Sue Coffey, the head of GLEWA, was here, and I just want to thank her because when Gary first called me, they didn't know where the break was, where the valves were, and if they were going to be able to shut it off. Really, by 7:30 in the morning, they had found the leak, had started turning off the valves. By 8 or 8:30, we saw the water starting to recede, and many of our worst fears turned out not to come true. Many of you witnessed what happened in the heroism of those early hours. We had firefighters taking children out on their shoulders. We had a front loader that evacuated a family. But since then, the water levels both on the street and in the basements have receded significantly. I have not seen a time where a response to a water main break has been this quick and this effective. And so to Sue Coffey and Gary Brown, please say thank you to your teams for what they did. We are now moving into mode of making sure every single family in every one of those homes is safe. And I am pleased to say that the Sonesta extended stay hotels we have made arrangements with for families that have to move to be able to be located there. So if you don't have power, you don't have heat, we have a few blocks that don't have water. You do not have to stay in your home. We will get you into a good hotel room. The city of Detroit will provide you food. If you have a pet that needs to evacuate with you, Sonesta is a pet-friendly hotel system. Your pet can come with you, and if your dog is so large you can't really bring the dog to the hotel, the Detroit Animal Shelter will pick up the dog, shelter your pet, and then return that pet to you when you go back to your house. You can stay in the extended stay hotel until your water, your power, and your heat are back on. And we will support you in that process. The next question moves to repairs. And in this city, folks are mostly familiar with the FEMA process when we have had rainstorms, which was an act of God. We are treating this very differently. This was a failure of the water main system. And the Detroit Water and Sewer Department and GLEWA are going to repair the damage and pay for your loss as a result of this. And I'm really pleased with the fact there's no bureaucracy involved, that your uninsured damage will be split 50-50 between GLEWA and DWSD, and there's very good logic for this. GLEWA maintains the transmission lines they have since 2014 when we entered into a lease with them. The city of Detroit owns the lines and built them in the 1930s. It seemed like a fair solution to split the repair costs and not put the citizens who are affected through the bureaucracy that they have been used to in FEMA applications. We start with inspections, and DWSD is going to take the lead in doing the inspections, cleaning your basements, repairing and replacing your furnaces, replacing your hot water heaters. And so we will get out, inspect your property, and start the repairs very quickly. We have a single phone number, 313-774-5261. If you are lacking heat or power tonight and want to go to a hotel, that's the number you call. If you're staying in your house but you want to start the repairs to your basement, that's the number you call. One telephone number, and we will start that process. Gary Brown and the Detroit Water and Sewer Department are already starting emergency contracting so that we will move quickly to restore the condition of your home. We have people who lost their cars in the flood and may need to get to work tomorrow. We are establishing, through Denise Fair and the Health Department, Uber service to get you to and from where you need to go until your car is repaired and returned to you. And so if you call this same number, that service will start tomorrow. The Health Department's in the process of setting it up. But you call the same number, 313-774-5261, and let them know that you're going to be needing transportation. And if you live in the affected area, that service will be provided to you as well. And so it has been, I don't know now, 8 or 10 hours, however long it's been a very, seems like a lot longer than when it's been. But I went back out. I couldn't believe how much the water has receded just in this short period of time. And with that, I'd like to introduce and again thank the head of the Great Lakes Water Authority, Sue Coffey.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. And I think this is a great example of how it is that when we come together as a region, we can do great things, right? We can respond to emergencies. We work together. We are committed to each other's success. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Our team did a fine job, and I'd like to thank them as well. So our team was out on, we got a call at 4, as the mayor indicated, and by 5 we were out on site. About 2.5 hours later, we had identified the location and began to isolate that main, and that's the first thing you got to do. You got to turn a valve, you got to isolate the main, and start to get the water to recede. So I'm happy to say we were able to do that. Currently, they are still working on getting that water down. That's what needs to happen first. You heard the mayor talk about what Director Brown is going to be doing, and in order for him to do a good assessment, we've got to get that water down. So we're going to be working diligently to get that water down as quickly as we can. So that's the current status. I'd just like to reiterate how happy we are to partner in this particular situation. It's a tragic situation. We understand that. Our heart goes out to the people who've been impacted by this, and we are committed to partnering with the city as we go through the restoration process. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Director Brown.
Thank you so much, Sue. So I arrived on the scene approximately 6 o'clock in the morning, and what I saw was firemen and policemen going door to door, trying to ascertain whether or not there were people in homes where the water might be reaching the first level of those homes and that they needed to be extricated from those homes. And so I can't thank both the police and fire department to doing what they always do, putting public health and safety first and getting people out of cars that were trapped, getting Harbor Master to arrive and assist. And so when I got there and those type of issues are already taken care of, I can focus on making sure the resources are available to begin to shut this water off and get the water main break fixed. And that's what we were able to do. And so we're going to move very quickly. And let me assure you that we're good at this next phase. We've done it a lot. We will get emergency contractors in place. There will be one phone number for our residents to call to ask for help in getting their basements cleaned out. And by the way, it's a nuance, but one that bears mentioning. This was water. This was not sewage. This wasn't a sewer main break. This was a fresh water main break. And I know that that does a lot of damage to one's homes, but certainly the cleanup becomes a lot easier when it's not sewage. And so they'll have one number to call. We'll also, by tomorrow, have employees that will be going door to door to ascertain whether or not folks want to make a claim. And as soon as they either make the phone call or tell the person that responds to the door that they want to make a claim will be made. That will initiate the process. We'll get buildings and safety out to do an assessment of the home to make sure that it is safe and livable. And we will then begin to get the contractors in after the building inspectors to make the homes safe, making sure that they have heat, that they have water. And right now in that particular area, there are only a few homes that do not have water. The water has been restored to the majority of homes in the area. It's my understanding we had a smaller water main break that caused some houses to be out of water. But everyone has water right now, and our main objective is to get in there, identify what needs to be done in terms of repairing furnaces, making sure that hot water tanks are working, and to make sure that the heat's on. And again, we've done this quite a bit, and we're pretty good at it, and we'll get it done in a very efficient manner. With that said, I'll turn it over to Eva to maybe say some of what I said in Spanish.
Thank you, sir. Buenas tardes. Si a alguna residente le faltan agua, electricidad o calefacción, tenemos habitaciones disponibles esta noche en el Hotel Sonesta Extended Stay. Te llevaremos allí y pagaremos su comida mientras estés en el hotel. Se aceptan animales, pero si su animal es demasiado grande, lo mantendremos en el refugio de animales de la ciudad. Necesitan llamar el 313-774-5261. El Departamento de Agua de Detroit y la Autoridad de Agua de Grandes Lagos pagará por los daños si hay algún daño a su calefactor de agua, calefacción y limpieza de su sótano. Debemos enviar un inspector. Tenemos varias personas y varios departamentos tocando sus puertas, incluyéndome a mí. Si necesitas transporte porque su coche ha sufrido daños, tienes que llamar al mismo número, que es el 313-774-5261. Y nosotros lo llevaremos a su sitio indicado por vía de Uber, empezando mañana por la mañana. De nuevo le voy a dar el número porque es súper importante, es un número para todos los servicios y es el 313-774-5261. Y con eso se lo paso al jefe de la policía, Chief of Police, Mr. Bettison.
Thank you, Eva. I have definitely a lot of thank yous and to the city agencies, the various departments that all have responded to assist with this. Just thank you. Our officers arrived at the scene at 2:17 a.m. and some of those officers who arrived at the scene immediately went to going door to door, knocking and alerting residents in an attempt to advise them as to the water main break. And then also they were able to even coordinate getting some of the citizens out of their houses, and some citizens also were able to move their cars, and so many vehicles were actually saved by locating them outside of the flood area. And so many of the men and women who actually responded are still there on the scene as well. The mayor has already indicated that thus far we've been able to rescue 54 adults, 22 children, and 12 pets. I want to just once again thank the members of the Detroit Police Department, but also the members of the fire department, EMS. It has just been all hands on deck, along with DPW, just everyone who responded. And then in collaboration with our memorandums of understanding with other law enforcement partners, just want to give a big thank you out to the department dive team, our harbor master unit, who actually got boats out there to be able to move people across the streets and the floodplain. Thanking Southeast Michigan Marine Team and all the other agencies. I know that the news, the media has been out there, and if you notice, you've seen counties that you typically don't see. Some of them came as far as an hour away to help with the public safety rescue efforts. And so I just want to stress that if it's anyone in their home still, to call 911. We will definitely get to you to assist you. And at this point, I will turn it over to, it was one other thing too. Vehicles. Some of the vehicles are still stranded in the street. The Detroit Police Department will tow those vehicles, but it's going to be free of charge. We will actually take the vehicles to our 4th precinct, which is located at 4700 West 4th Street. And to the residents, just like every other thing who's been affected and negatively impacted, there will be no fee to retrieve your cars. The Detroit Police Department will waive in the fees. And at this point, I would like to bring up my partner, the Fire Commissioner, Chuck Sims.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chief. Just want to say a big thank you to the Detroit Fire Department, the men and women on the fire department. So once again, they responded in these frigid temperatures. They arrived on the scene and never, ever complained. They went straight to work. They saved and rescued dozens of residents to safety. And I just want to say I'm just so proud of the work they did today, as well as I want to thank the other departments, the other agencies, DPD, the Water Board, DDOT, BC. I mean, we all came together in a collaborative effort to make sure that we were able to mitigate this scene. And although we have a little ways to go, it's looking really, really good. So just want to say that out of the whole ordeal, we only transported one individual for breathing issues, and that was it. So as of now, no recoveries or no more transports. Thank you.
One more thing I want to mention, the individuals have been rescued, and most of them located with other families. We had about 14 who were temporarily sheltered at the Pet and Recreation Center, and they are in the process of being moved now to hotel accommodations. And I want to thank council members Mary Waters and Gabriela Santiago Romero for being here with their support today. And with that, we'll take any questions.
Usually not first, but Mayor, do you have any, I have two questions. First of all, do you have any idea the cost because of this big water main break, or any idea whatsoever?
We haven't worried about the cost yet. People will do estimates on that later. Right now, we're just focused on helping people.
Okay. And anyway, because of the temperatures, we understand they're going to be very, very low today. Does that impede any of the repairs or anything because of that weather?
Not much, Charlie, at all. I mean, it slows us down, but the men and women at both GLEWA and DWSD, this is what they do. They work in frigid temperatures, they work on water main breaks, and they work well. It slows us down. We won't be able to go as fast, but certainly they will get the job done.
Afternoon. Malachi Barrett from Bridge Detroit. I just have two questions for you. They might both be tough to answer at this point. I mean, the main thing that we ran into when we were talking to people out there was they wanted to know if this was avoidable, if there was anything that could have been done to prevent a situation like this. It's a very old pipe, obviously. Can you provide any insight on that?
So I'll speak to that, thank you. So we do have an inspection program. We have about 800 miles of transmission main over 8 counties. So we systematically go through these pipes. I will say I'm an engineer by trade and training, and the brilliant engineers that design these systems designed them to be closed intentionally. So it's challenging for us to get in to do inspections. So to answer your question, was it preventable? Not likely, as assets age, but that doesn't mean we don't work every day to try to get ahead of these types of things.
Okay. And the other question I would have is how long do we expect it'll take before people are able to go back in their homes? We're already getting water turned on, but power, things like that, it sounds like it's going to take more time, let alone the repairs. So what is kind of the timeline that we expect?
Yeah, so I don't have a timeline for that yet. The crews will work tirelessly to get the water down, and then Director Brown and his team will work to get the homes in a situation or circumstance that they can come back in. So I don't have a timeline yet.
So, let me clarify. There are very few houses where it doesn't have water. As strange as it may seem when you look at it, most of the water main breaks that you cover are a small break on the neighborhood water line, and you see a whole block go down. That didn't happen here. This was a main transmission line. The lines, with the exception of 3 blocks in the neighborhoods, are still intact, and so GLEWA is routing the water to the line. So the issue will not be restoring water. It'll be a question of how fast we can replace furnaces, probably as much as anything. But folks are going to be able to stay at the hotel until your house is restored and you can comfortably move back.
Thank you.
Hi, Darcy Moran with the Detroit Free Press. Thank you. Couple questions for you. We were hearing reports earlier that some people were not leaving their homes. I'm wondering if that changed or if we have information on why that was taking place.
Again, from what we are hearing, you had folks, in some cases, had little water in the basement who never lost power, who never lost heat, and wanted to stay where they were. And we're going now having that conversation house by house. But the people who lost their power and lost their heat tended to move out. Those that didn't lose their power and didn't lose their heat tended to stay. And we will know much more in the coming hours because we have literally 80 people knocking on doors and having a conversation with every family. But, I mean, the fire department team was out, the DPD team were out from early this morning having those conversations. You saw the images of the firefighters taking kids out on their shoulders.
And can you talk about any federal agencies that were involved in this response and whether or not that played a role in people not leaving their homes?
No, this is a city function. So there's no FEMA claim. There's no act of nature in this case. This was a failure of a Detroit-built, GLEWA-maintained water main. That's the truth, and we're going to fix it.
And I just wanted to clarify something you had said in kind of the chronology earlier, is the connection between the departments, how that conversation went in the early morning hours.
I'm not sure about the details of that.
My main question, though, is just, was there confusion with which line, and did that cause a delay in response?
I'm not sure what happened between 2 and 4. What I know is that at 4, GLEWA was notified that it was a transmission line, and we're going to have to go back through details on exactly what happened in between.
I don't know if any of the directors might be able to answer that.
No, when I arrived, there was as much as 5 feet of water in the street over the break, so it was just not, you just weren't able to tell anything at that particular time. So it took a couple of hours for us to find the valves that were covered with ice and snow to be able to isolate, shut off the water, and identify exactly where the break was.
And the 2 entities being involved didn't cause any delay with
No,
that?
it didn't do anything but help the situation. Sam Smalley, my deputy director, was in constant contact with Todd King, who's second in charge to Sue Coffey, and they worked seamlessly together in order to isolate the break and get the work done.
Very last question, is that a 24/7 number, the hotline?
It will be. I can assure you it will be.
Hang on, it is, right? Is Julia or Malia here? 24 hours?
We're going to staff it to make it 24 hours. We're going to make it staff, yeah, today it's until 8, and then we'll staff it for 24 hours.
It's staffed till 8 today and 24 hours after that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm hoping between now and 8, they figure out how to just make it continue. All right.
Hi, guys. My name is Whitney. I'm with Channel 7. Just two quick questions for you. And I know that you touched on response time a little bit there, but can you talk to me about what might have been happening? We got a couple of reports from neighbors saying that they had been calling the 24-hour emergency hotline for the water and sewerage. They weren't getting any answers at all. There was no one answering the phone, and they were forced to call 911. Anything you can say to neighbors who are confused about what was happening in early morning hours?
Yeah, sure. There were a lot of calls coming in through 911. There were also calls coming into our emergency hotline, and we were mobilizing crews just as fast as we could to get out there. Other than that, I can't give you any more details between what was happening with the timeline.
The second question that I had is, I know that a couple weeks ago we had a pretty major water main break on the west side where a lot of water was on the street there. And I know that you guys have also talked about it here, but does aging infrastructure play a role at all with the water main breaks that we're seeing in these cold snaps?
Yeah, as Sue indicated, absolutely it plays a role. However, when it gets as cold as it is now and the frost line goes deeper into the ground and you simply have the ground shifting and the pipes are in the ground, you can have a water main break. I've seen 24-inch lines break on lines that weren't even half the age of this one. And so there are a lot of factors that go into the type of soil. We're 139 square miles. We have different soils in different areas of the city. So there are a lot of factors that go into water main breaks. Age is certainly one of them, but not the only one.
Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for this opportunity to ask questions. Darren Cunningham with Channel 7. I wanted to clarify damages that will be covered. So homes will be inspected. Is there any cap, like an amount?
We're working out those details right now.
Okay.
So the important thing is that we are, about 6 or 8 hours into it. I was really pleased that Director Brown and Director Coffey could come to such a quick agreement that we should share this and move quickly, in the exact details will being worked out. But certainly we are going to get in and fix the damage, replace the furnaces, replace the hot water heaters, and go from there.
All right, what about vehicles, vehicle repair?
Yeah, again, we're going to work through all those details. Whatever is not covered by insurance, in principle, we're going to cover.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? All right, thank you all very much.